Hey everybody, welcome to the 2021 AFL Community Series review. It's the only Community Series match that the Carlton Football Club will be playing, and it's the final dress rehearsal before round one. And first of all, gotta say, it's so good being back at the football. I said it last week in terms of watching them play, but I was one of the fortunate people that got to be at the game last night. Everything about it, catching the train in, going up the escalators at Southern Cross Station, and just getting that nostalgia of what it was like going to the footy. I mean, for me personally, the last time I was at a game, a men's game, was 2019, the St Kilda game. And it's crazy. You know, it was I'll be honest, it was emotional. It was emotional doing the routine again. You know, little things from scanning the Mikey ticket, hearing the beep, meeting up with people before the game, platform 28, getting a beer, the conversations, just really grateful to be back, really happy to be back, and I enjoyed the night. Depending on what you were looking for last night, you got it. If you were looking for a reason to be outraged, you got it. If you were looking for a reason to be grateful, you got it. And I'm just happy for now to have this normality back. It was a great crowd, great noise, and I really did enjoy myself, and I'm looking forward to getting things back to the way they should be, and that is going to the footy with family, friends, whoever, and enjoying ourselves. Now, in terms of the game, tell you what, the AFL will be wrapped with that. That was borderline an NBA All-Star game. It was up and down. It was pretty bruise-free, to be honest. I think both teams had 48 tackles. And it really had the makings and the hallmarks of a preseason game. It's really what it was. I felt like I don't think there's going to be as much space come the real season. I think the tackle numbers, the pressure, the intensity is going to lift by at least 15%, 20%. And if you just look at the tackle numbers alone, I think you'll make that judgment as well. But, I mean, the goals that we did give up, particularly early in the game, in the first half, were pretty soft. The Saints, full credit to them. They're a well-drilled team, well-coached. It seemed like every time they got the ball, they knew exactly where they wanted to go with that next kick or that next handball. The synergy was there, and I just don't think we had it. I mean, we lose Harry halfway through the game. He's really the only key forward who knows the system inside and out. And then we're left with Oscar McDonald and Callum Moore to be those targets, and it was always going to be a struggle, and we had to adjust. I thought we did a pretty good job of doing it. I've watched most of the game again, but I did want to share some of my thoughts, some of the things that I noticed throughout each quarter. I mean, in that first, Fish, great roving goal. I didn't like McDonald in the ruck. As the game went on, I liked McDonald more and more. I actually had a moment where I wasn't enjoying his game at all in the first half, and met up with a good mate of mine who said he enjoyed McDonald's game, and then I think I had a predisposition against him. And it's funny, when you're looking for a reason to not like someone, you'll find it. Whereas when you're looking for a reason to be positive, you'll also find it. And I think I was caught up in the McDonald, I guess the hype of not wanting him on the list. And I think last week seeing him in the ruck and he didn't look comfortable in the ruck, I think that stuck in my head. But he actually did work pretty hard upon watching it again, particularly in that first half. He did some really nice things and got on the end of some nice passages of play. Zach Williams, silly bump. You know, on the one hand, I fucking love it. I love it. You know, someone that is throwing his weight around. He's good in stoppage. He's good in tight. He creates space for himself. His 2 goals were brilliant. We haven't had a player that can do that for a while. There's not too many players in the league that can do that at stoppage and kick goals like that, particularly inside forward 50. But yeah, that bump, who knows what happens. End of the day, he's left his feet. He's hit the guy in the head. Thankfully, there was no concussion. But I think I can just imagine they're going to want to make an example of that exact passage of play, because if they let it off, then later on down the season, that's going to be used as a precedent to let other players off. So it's unfortunate. I love the aggression. I love the mentality, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think he's in a little bit of trouble. Loved Mark Pidernet's first quarter. A couple of goals. He was really good. I thought Wiedering's first quarter was poor, and I think the first 2 games that we've seen of him in the preseason haven't been at his best. I could sense there wasn't the same, I don't know if you call it lackadaisical, but there wasn't this intensity, and it's almost like they're holding back a little bit. I felt that anyway. I think we still have quite a bit more to give, especially when the season comes around, but I thought Wiedering was just out-positioned at times. He got better as the game went on before he did get injured, but I thought he did some things that weren't the Jacob Wiedering that we saw in 2020. Again, giving up the easy goals. I thought Adam Saad's defensive one-on-one work in the first half was pretty poor, I've got to say. I think there's something that I saw. I was sitting on level 2 for the most part of the game, and we're going to have to work out Saad and Doc. Doc loves to play a little bit more loose. Saad loves to run and gun. They can't both do it, and I think we got caught out a few times. I think Doc gave a goal up to Loney. Saad gave a easy inside 50 mark up to Loney as well, and we're going to have to tighten that up come round 1 and for the rest of the season. I think the two of them are going to just have to work on that synergy as to who goes and who stays and who mans up and who covers for the other one. But that's what the preseason's for. We've got a couple of games for with the two of them playing together. I think that'll be something that won't be at its best in round 1, obviously, but by the end of the season, I think the two of them are going to be working off each other pretty well, and that's really exciting. It's almost, when you think about it, Doc's 2017 All-Australian year, he and Simmer, before he got injured, he and Simmer had that synergy, the right side, the left footer, the right footer, and I think they're going to have to build that as well. So I'm looking forward to that, but not very good to give up those easy goals. Harry, I didn't think he was reading the flight of the ball very well. I thought he played, again, when you don't go all out, you're susceptible to getting injured. And I thought Harry at times played for free kicks. I thought he played with a sense of entitlement. Don't get me wrong, he is one of the worst officiated players in the league. The umpires do not give him a break. He gets chopped on the arms a lot. He gets dragged. He gets held from the jumper below the eyesight of the umpire, and he doesn't get umpired very well. But having said that, he needs to find a way, and I thought he just... And maybe it was the ankle as well. Maybe that's why he wasn't going all out. And in the end, he hurt it again. And that's heart in the mouth type stuff, because we're very, very thin, as you saw last night on forwards. I thought Setterfield had a pretty good first quarter and a pretty good first half. I liked his game. I've liked his preseason. There's been a notion that we've put him away from the inside midfield to put Walsh in there. But I think Setterfield's got some really good tricks there. He can read the ball. He can intercept well. He's a solid kick. He went at 85% last night. Had a few that, out in the full and a few that didn't work. But I really liked his game, and particularly his first half. Second quarter comes around. We had slowed them down a little bit. Zach Fisher kicks another one. I thought, again, he had this moment. I don't know how to explain it. He had this moment. It was on the right wing, and it was kind of like a Kyrie Irving, Kobe Bryant, like half a jab step, full jab step, and then crossover, all in a matter of milliseconds. It was really cool. They had the crowd up and about, and yeah, I think he's primed. He did push up the ground as the game went on, particularly in that third quarter, and he looked great on the wing. If we could have him in the forward line and the wing, if we could have two of him, that'd be handy. But he looked really sharp. Really enjoyed his game. Sam Dougherty had a really poor kick in that third quarter, literally direct turnover and a goal. And those are the moments that stick in supporters' minds. Like, he's had 25 or 27 touches. Most of them were pretty good, but the 3 or 4 or 5 touches that weren't good, they're the ones that stick in the supporters' minds. So that was disappointing. And I expect him to be better. He's a captain of the football club. He's had a very interrupted, well, not very interrupted, but an interrupted preseason. He's had a serious health scare, and ankle injury and surgery. So, he's shaking off the cobwebs, but I do expect him to get better. I noticed in the third, Jack Martin looked off. I think he's looked off in both games, to be honest. Now, is it just saving himself for round 1? Is he just going through the motions? I don't know. I'm not overreacting to it just yet, but we'll wait until round 1 and we'll find out exactly what it all means, because the context of this all is that it is preseason, and we didn't want to get too high after the win last week against the Bombers. We don't want to get too low against, in the loss against the Saints. So I'm looking for Jack Martin to definitely show a lot more than what he did, or what he has done in this preseason. Jack Silvani, we start talking about Jack Silvani. We needed a lift. And I know it was a preseason game, but we were down 5 or so goals, and we needed a lift because we needed to play with a sense of pride, and they did. And I thought Jack Silvani was at the centre of that with Liam Jones and Zach Fisher and even Mark Murphy as well. I thought they did a pretty good job. And the impressive part for me and the takeaway for me was that, okay, we've lost Harry, we've got Oscar McDonald, we've got Callum Moore now on the field. Obviously, they're not, the first choice forwards, but we adjusted to how we move the ball inside 50. And was it an improvement? The kicking inside 50, was it an improvement from the Essendon game? For me, I say absolutely. The Saints play that helter-skelter, kamikaze football, and they scored very easily on us when we turned the ball over, but by the same token, they put the pressure on, and we were able to cut them up a little bit as well, and at the end of the day, we've scored 99 points. We've conceded 125, which is not great, but I thought we looked better moving the ball, a little bit more fluid. So then comes the Jacob Wiedering moment. At this point, I was on level 1, and just your life flashes before your eyes. I just remember Cruiser doing his ACL 2009, I think it was, at Etihad, as it was called back then, against Freo. And, Wiedering, it looked to me at the time that he was holding his knee. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, is this really happening again? Is this really what we're going to have to go through again? But fortunately, it seems like it's a hip corky. I think Teague described it as in the press conference. If that's the case, he's got a couple of weeks. They are very nasty, don't get me wrong, but he's got a couple of weeks to flush that out and hopefully be ready for round 1. Sardi kicks a great running goal, got the crowd up and about. And speaking of the crowd, I forgot to mention in that first quarter there was a moment where I can't remember who made the tackle for us. It should have been called holding the ball, and it wasn't. And the crowd was on fire. And those are the little moments that you miss going to the footy, hearing that, being a part of the energy. And I went to the game telling myself, I'm not going to get too carried away, but as that play happens, I'm standing up, screaming, "You fucking idiot!" It was great. It was really great. Fisher on a wing, I mentioned it before. I really, really like it. I really do. I think we've got to work out a way to start him forward and then play him with spurts in the midfield or on the wing. I think because Cunningham had come on in that third quarter, it allowed Fisher to roam up the ground a little bit more, and he did it with great effect. I was very, very impressed. Lockie O'Brien had come on at this point. His first kick wasn't great, but he was okay without standing out. And the thing is, he's playing in that second half of the third quarter onwards, so he's not getting game time from the beginning. So it's an adjustment, but I thought he looked a little bit better, and the fight back was there, and it was good to see because they needed to do it. There was a bit of pride in their performance. Fourth quarter comes along. Fish sets up that Sard run to Fogarty to Murphy for his goal. Jack Silvani takes that mark, and Jack Silvani. So if he's going to make it. I'm very confident that he's going to make it. Ross Lyon spoke about him after the game, and he said he loved his effort. He's not the best player on the team, but he plays with pride. He plays with a sense of purpose. He plays for the jumper. He knows what it means. It's in his blood. His family are there, and they're custodians of the football club. Great custodians of the football club, and I'm just happy for him to have gone from last week, where it was an almost game for him, to actually getting on the end of some good passages of play. He set up that Oscar McDonald goal in the first half. He takes that mark in the third, and that's important. Now, I think he's going to be that second forward for us at the moment, because I don't know where Mitch is at, don't know where Levi's at. Harry, it's a rolled ankle, so you think he's going to be able to get back before round 1, but Jack's going to all of a sudden become a very important part of what we do, and when he does play well, it brings a spirit into the crowd, because he's a Silvani, and that's, when that number 1 plays well, we all get up and about. Look, apart from that, we got to within a kick. Cunningham kicks a goal to put us within a kick. The crowd's up and about and excited. I think there might have been 5 or 6 minutes to go. And then they end up winning by 26, the Saints. So that was disappointing. We fell away. They got their easy goals. And look, fair play to St Kilda. They're elite. They're elite the way they move the ball. I don't think they're going to get as much space as what they did last night throughout the season. I think we're going to be better in that regard. But it was good. It was good. It's been a good hit out. It's been a good pre-season. I think we've got a couple of weeks now to get ready for round 1, and I think we are ready. And I'm just happy to be back talking about the footy, talking about it, watching it, being around it, and I'm grateful. So let me know what you think. What are your takeaways from the game? What have I missed? Who have I missed? Finish the review off in the comments below, and we'll chat about it some more. Go the Mighty Blues.